Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm LockhartQT, and today I'm going to be diving into the world of mobile gaming with another lost iOS Mass Effect game. So on the channel I've talked about Mass Effect 3 Datapad as well as Mass Effect Galaxy. Mass Effect Galaxy was another iOS game that is officially lost to the sands of time, so to speak, as the game is just no longer available. But today I will be looking at Mass Effect Infiltrator. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan myself, but sometimes even beloved franchises stumble when they make the leap to mobile, and today I'm going to be talking about how Mass Effect Infiltrator came into being, sadly died a horrible gruesome death, and what the game actually was. So let's get into it.
LockhartQT.
Mass Effect Infiltrator is a third-person shooter developed by IronMonkey Studios for mobile devices including iOS, Android, Windows Phone 8 and BlackBerry 10. This is how sort of far back we're going here, as the game was originally released for iOS devices on March 6, 2012. It cost £5 in the UK or $7 in the US, and as of April 2018, Mass Effect Infiltrator was removed from the App Store, and it was removed it was actually beginning to be removed all the way back in September 2015, but it wasn't until 2018 the game was essentially lost forever. The reason for it being taken off the store has not been confirmed by BioWare or EA or IronMonkey Studios in this case, but like Mass Effect Galaxy for Mass Effect 2, playing Infiltrator and gaining intel, making certain choices, also gained intel points depending on choices made within the game. It's actually, it's a Mass Effect game, you're going to make choices, and it actually added intel to the Galaxy at War map in Mass Effect 3. You actually gained bits of intel depending on if you played Infiltrator or not, which I think is really cool. So yeah, Mass Effect Infiltrator is an interesting one because when we looked at Mass Effect Galaxy, that was more of a sort of cartoonish top-down shooter, sort of like strategy game, whereas Infiltrator was a full-on third-person shooter trying to mimic the gameplay of Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, but on mobile devices. But sadly, the gameplay is where Mass Effect Infiltrator falls short. While it attempts to replicate the iconic Mass Effect experience on a smaller screen on iOS and Android devices, it struggles to capture the depth of complexity the series is obviously known for. The controls, although they're serviceable, can be really clunky at times. I mean, you fully expect this from a third-person shooter, especially back in sort of early 2010s, on a mobile device. It comes with the territory, but it often feels like you're fighting against the actual game and controls instead of enjoying smooth tactical combat like you would in Mass Effect 2 and 3. Graphics wise, the game does actually make an effort, and I will give it commendation for that, but let's be real, it's a mobile game. While the character models and environments look decent enough, they lack the level of detail and immersion you'd find in mainline Mass Effect titles. Again, it's a mobile game, it's not going to be, like the Legendary Edition. Bear in mind, this came out in 2012, obviously. It's a compromise we've all come to expect from mobile gaming, but it's still worth mentioning at the end of the day. Now, the story of Mass Effect Infiltrator isn't terrible, but it doesn't quite live up to the storytelling standards of ME1, ME2 and Mass Effect 3. You play as Randall Enzo, and his journey from Cerberus operative to rogue fighter is a familiar redemption arc that we sort of saw with Mass Effect 2, but it lacks the depth, moral complexity and personality that Mass Effect fans have come to appreciate from other characters in the series. This, in my opinion, was a missed opportunity, huge at the time. Imagine if, Randall appeared in Mass Effect 3 if you played Infiltrator. That would have been big at the time. And again, it's just a missed opportunity to explore more intriguing narratives within the Mass Effect universe, because Mass Effect is a type of universe that is rich, and it would have been perfect for some proper, spin-offs to be made, and unfortunately what we got just wasn't great. Replayability is another aspect where Infiltrator falters. The game's linear structure and relatively short campaign mean that once you've completed it, there's not much incentive to come back for more. For a franchise known for its replayability and branching narratives, this feels like a bit of a letdown. So in conclusion, Mass Effect Infiltrator is a mixed bag. It's not a complete disaster, but it certainly falls short of the high standards set by Mass Effect at the time, which was obviously the original Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and then the upcoming Mass Effect 3. It attempts to bring the Mass Effect experience to mobile, like Mass Effect Galaxy sort of failed overall. It struggles with its controls, depth of gameplay, and storytelling. As a massive Mass Effect fan, it's hard not to be a bit disappointed here. If you're a die-hard fan like me, you might want to give it a shot for the sake of completion, as like I said, the only problem is actually getting the game. This is a lost bit of media, so you may either have to potentially explore other means to play the game. I won't say what, but yeah. But there are better ways to experience this beloved franchise. Obviously, just play the Legendary Edition if you want to, if you want a good Mass Effect experience. But if you are a die-hard Mass Effect fan, I shouldn't have to tell you that. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in today, and don't forget to subscribe for more sort of honest gaming reviews and a look back at the vault at, lost Mass Effect content, so to speak. I think things like Mass Effect Galaxy, Mass Effect Infiltrator are really interesting because it should not only sort of you take a trip back in time almost, but you can see what EA and BioWare were trying to do with the franchise. And this could potentially, if all things go well with the new game, whether it be Mass Effect 4, 5, whatever, potentially we could see more spin-offs. Thank you so much for watching, and for more Mass Effect content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.